The story of the package takes Halo to places that we'd only ever dreamed of before. For starts, we get to go into space. We get to follow Master Chief on his booster frame, which is awesome. We get to see Master Chief fighting alongside other Spartans. We get to see him assaulting a whole Covenant fleet. These are things that may have been happening out in the skies of the Halo universe before, but we've never been able to see them happen before. And it's great to finally be able to see that.
この作品はですね、
I wanted to do a story about the Spartans before the events of the first Halo game, or even the novel The Fall of Reach. As a player of the game, these are things I always wanted to see, so it was wonderful to get the opportunity to create them visually.
Director Aramaki is a longtime friend of mine, but he's probably the only anime director that I know who is a huge fan of Halo and also legendary player at that. So having him actually tackle this franchise itself, I mean, it really was a joy to see the kind of sensibility and ideas and designs that he brought to this episode. And the end result is something that hopefully not only just contribute to the Halo universe, but possibly enhance some of the aspects when it comes to designs.
Having Aramaki play in the Halo world just totally melts my brain. I think it's very, very cool to have an anime coming out. I'm very excited, and it's like this symbiotic relationship that Halo shares with anime. Then to go so far as to tell me that Aramaki is actually going to be helming one of the chapters is like, brain exploded. I can't, process it. It's just too cool.
So Casio was unfamiliar territory for us. We knew, of course, Shinji Aramaki, the director, very well from his previous work, but Casio had this really cool, unique visual approach to CG, and we figured that we could work with them to get the type of imagery that we wanted, even though it's vastly different from their previous work. With Aramaki shepherding that, we were pretty confident that the stuff was going to turn out beautifully. And it did. And in fact, Casio was one of the first studios to send us animation samples very early in the project, turned it over very quickly, and the quality was stunning.
I think that one of the wonderful moments from our team really was when we saw that first Aramaki piece, because for us, that's the closest because it's CG and it's the closest to games. But yet it brought it to life in a different way than you see in our games, and I think it made it real in a different way.
So the piece that's on screen right now was the first expression test that Casio sent us. Show us how the Master Chief was going to look, and also to show us what the overall quality of the CG anime was going to look and how it was going to look.
All right. But in terms of the movements that you're looking at here, I think the director was concerned about using Japanese actors because the body expression is a little different from, say, Western actors or.
I think that can be true in the mocap. We were using Japanese athletes, stunt persons, and gymnasts.
Right.
And I think, honestly, their professions had more to do with it than their ethnicity, to be honest. I think that there is a lightness to it, but I think that one of the things about real Spartans, as far as the canon goes, is that they can move with great agility and speed. And so I think that was caught in the mocap beautifully. And I think more importantly, it's the adjustments that were made to the mocap data after the fact are part of what makes it work so well.
Yeah, because I think one of the concerns was the fact that, a lot of Spartans, we don't get to see their faces a lot.
Yep.
So it's really a lot of the physical expressions of their body, like that's part of the acting. And I think in terms of action, we use a lot of the action actors or the dancers, but when it comes to acting, we need to use actors with, who can actually express certain emotions through their movements.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that is being talked about a lot in the Halo universe, but very seldom captured properly, is the physicality of a Spartan. Seen a little bit of it in the Halo Wars CG, but Spartans move at great speed considering they weigh almost a ton. Just the idea of a Spartan charging through any environment should be intimidating, it should be a little bit menacing, and I think that that's another thing that these guys had to work hard to capture.
So when you actually first came to us, you actually preferred to have a cel-shaded look, as opposed to a real look, right?
Yeah, we had this discussion with you guys over and over again. We didn't want to make a cartoon. We didn't want to make a CG movie. We wanted to make a series of anime pieces, and so it was important to us that the spirit of that was true and not a synthesis of it.
Right.
Usually people, when they think about anime, the first thing is like cel shading, traditional animation, and Aramaki was, in my opinion, one of the first people to do it right with the Appleseed series. I was really impressed that he was able to bring some of that cel shading style to a 3D genre. So seeing his take also on 3D from a different perspective impressed me a lot, especially the way the characters have weight to them, the way they walk, the way they move. Some of the camera angles that he's using, they're very dynamic. So it's a different take to the three-dimensionality of the characters.
For the package episode, I did give a lot of thought to what kind of visual I wanted to employ. In CG animation, one could inject more realism into the work, creating an almost hyper-realistic look. I am a CG animation director, but also traditional anime director as well. Rather than trying to recreate reality, I wanted to inject my sensibility as an anime creator. That is why I decided to utilize this cel-shaded approach. That way I could balance the realistic visual with an illustrated or painted look of anime, which I think seems pretty well matched for the world of Halo.
Aramaki actually comes from a very interesting background as a designer and an artist. A lot of his work that is recognized are from titles such as Robotech or Transformers even, and Bubblegum Crisis, and even the works that he directed such as Appleseed and Appleseed Ex Machina. You know, the sensibility that he brings is not only about the dramatic storytelling, but it's really also about the design aspects and visual aspects, which is why it's extra special to have him involved. Especially as a fan of Halo, I think there are a lot of things that he wanted to do that he got to explore in this episode that probably would be fascinating, not just for the fans of anime, but fans of Halo as well.
I created a lot of mecha designs in the past that are quite fantastic in nature, Transformers, for example. But I also created more realistic designs, transforming motorcycle suits in titles like Robotech. What I found interesting about the Halo design aesthetic was the fact that it depicted these type of near-future technologies. For example, in Halo, weapons are more similar to present day, using propelled bullets and grenades rather than laser beams. So when I played Halo, I actually began wondering about things like, how would Master Chief be changing his bullet magazines? So in my episode, you will notice a lot of my visual gimmicks and designs are like that, which is purely out of my personal curiosity and imagination. I hope the fans will find such visualization interesting as well.
There are a lot of design elements that distinguish Aramaki's work. You know, the way the angles and the lines and the tech details are incorporated. His total knowledge of the sci-fi tech cyber universe as a whole. It takes me back to that sort of 13-year-old mindset that I had where I was just looking at Robotech stuff and just absolutely geeking out. To be able to see, you know, a master like Aramaki put that into moving pictures, you know, aside from just a video game. It's not a cutscene, it's not, you know, an animatic for the video game. This is an actual anime, you know, that transcends the whole video game experience. Is just absolutely mind-numbingly cool for any fan of the genre.